Hello and welcome to Froch on Fighting. My name is Carl Froch, aka the Cobra, and I'm stood here in freezing cold New York, Times Square behind us. We'll get into the Shakur Stevenson Teofimo Lopez fight in a minute. This episode is brought to you by Cobra Casino. So I'm still in New York, still freezing to death, and last night Shakur Stevenson became a 4-weight world champion. What a fighter, just a total shutout. I didn't really expect that from Teofimo Lopez. I thought he'd have been in the fight, thought he'd have got involved more, thought he might have been able to push the pace and get a little bit rough inside. He's a clever, smart, very talented fighter. We've seen what he can do. I mean, the Josh Taylor fight, the former undisputed. I mean, he's a top fighter, Teofimo. But Shakur Stevenson, he's got this reputation for just being a slick, skillful boxer. I mean, he's got Andre Ward in his corner. Well, not in his corner, but it's one of his best mates. And that kind of style of fighting where you just don't get hit with many shots and you dominate behind the jab and you just outwit and outsmart and outfox your opponent. That's exactly what happened to Teofimo Lopez last night. Shakur Stevenson just dominated behind the jab. He was counter-punching on his back foot, just timing. It's the speed and the accuracy of Shakur Stevenson that makes him almost impossible to beat. He's so fast, so accurate. Short little hooks, solid jabs. Even if he puts his arm halfway, then he'll jab and just snap the jab out in Teo's face, in his opponent's face, whoever he's fighting. Short hooks. He doesn't get hit with a shot. I remember him sitting down at the end of round 11, smiling, not a mark on his face. I'm envious to the fact that he makes the fight look easy every fight. His last fight was in a bit of a fight. It was under the cosh a little bit more, but he even coped with that. But last night for him was so easy. It didn't look like he got out of second gear. It was a shutout performance, just totally outboxed, outmaneuvered and outsmarted Teofimo Lopez. I think the scores were 120, 108. It might have been 119, 110. Teofimo Lopez maybe won 1 or 2 rounds at the most, but the fact remains, the 4-weight world champion Shakur Stevenson just looks unbeatable and is a phenomenal talent. Brilliant performance. Where does Teo go from here? I don't know. Maybe can have a fight with Devin Haney, maybe Ryan Garcia, maybe have one more bit of a payday, then finish. But Shakur Stevenson, the world is his oyster. He is such a top fighter. He could literally dominate the game, similar to what Floyd Mayweather did. He's got that kind of a style where he don't get hit with many shots, doesn't take any punishment, there's no wear and tear, and he's a 4-weight world champion. He beat Teofimo Lopez with ease, so he needs his props, and fair play to Shakur Stevenson. What a top fighter he is. Yeah, and after the fight, I think Shakur called in Conor Benn into the ring. Now, I've seen in the comments this morning about Conor Benn potentially taking on Shakur Stevenson, and he's just getting totally written off. Nobody's giving Conor Benn a chance at all, and you can see why. Conor Benn is still learning on the job. He's never fought for an English, British, Commonwealth, European title. He's never fought for a world title. He's got a good win against Chris Algieri. He's obviously had them 2 mega fights with Chris Eubank Jr., but he's not ready for them kind of opponents, in my opinion. He just might be. You never know. Conor Benn might get in there and he might shock the world and shock everyone and do really well. I mean, I've come and do a little bit of criticism of Conor Benn himself. I spoke to him the other day. He wasn't very happy. I mean, we get on all right. We had a laugh. But I mentioned the word novice, which I suppose novice is a little bit harsh for Conor, because he's not a novice. But in boxing terms, if you've not won an English, British or even area title, and then you start looking at European and world titles, if you're nowhere near that level where you can say I've got this title, then you're still a novice pro, you're still learning. He's got no amateur pedigree at all, so in that sense he's a novice, but he is a very exciting prospect. So he got the ump, and I'm talking about him in the same breath as Shakur Stevenson, which I can't believe, because he's not ready for that yet. There's no criticism. If he goes in there and he gives Stevenson a fight, Stevenson called him in the ring, he got in, and there was exchanging verbal abuse. Stevenson's probably thinking, actually, Conor Benn's a big fighter in England. He brings a crowd, so it'll bring the money. So you think, I fancy that. It's a steady fight. Like, Conor Benn thinks he's too big for him, but sometimes size doesn't matter. And for this one, I just think Shakur Stevenson will be far too talented for Conor Benn. I might be wrong. I'm not giving Conor Benn his stick, and I sound like I'm trying to justify what I'm saying, but Conor needs a couple of steady fights around world level before he challenges for a world title. And I like him against someone like Ryan Garcia in a couple of fights, or maybe Barrios. I think they're winnable fights potentially, but the Shakur Stevenson one, I just think there's levels in the game and Conor is not there yet. Yeah, so it's been a great build-up. Really enjoyed it. Other than this freezing weather, I'm not a big fan of the cold weather. I was at the Ring Magazine Awards the other day. Canelo, Crawford, Usyk, Gennady Golovkin. I mean, it was a who's who of boxing. It was just great to. I actually had a little chat with Canelo. I had a good catch up with Usyk as well. He's a Cobra fan. I'm definitely an Usyk fan, but he likes the Cobra. And it's good to be around all these big fighters and be at the awards and being in and around it. It's been nice for me. It's exciting. I love the boxing. I love the game. And the build-up was not a crossover in terms of the British fans were into it. It's had a fight feel in New York. I felt like it was a big fight for the industry. Last night, the crowd, there was quiet, but there was cheering the sharp jabs that were landing. There was enjoying the actual art of pugilism. Unlike some of the British crowds, which is big and rowdy. I think there was about 15,000 fans there last night. And it was a very sort of knowledge audience, so I enjoyed it. It's been a boxing purist kind of fight for me and for the fans. And yeah, it's been great in New York, freezing cold like I've said. We're about done, we're about ready to go home. But it was nice to be around the Ring Magazine Awards, be around so many legends. Caught up with Lennox Lewis as well. We've got to drop out Lennox Lewis. What a guy. I mean, we always have a good chat, me and Lennox. We're going to get that game of chess in soon as well. But yeah, it's done, we're done. We need to go and get some breakfast and head down to that airport. Luckily, we didn't have a snow blizzard, but I'm absolutely freezing cold. I can see Manny's hands shaking. He's got no gloves on. So, listen, thanks for tuning in. If you haven't already, hit subscribe, and we'll be back very, very soon. All the best to you. God bless. So I've just got back in my room in New York, ready to check out and head down to JFK Airport. But I've got to mention Jerome Miller last night, in against his opponent, getting hit with uppercuts. The whole crowd was cracking up. The commentary, Todd Grisham, I think it was. I've heard some comms back. I mean, it was so funny. I feel a bit sorry for Jerome Miller because he got his head punched in and he got his wig knocked off his head. And the slow motion scene when he got hit with an uppercut and his wig like flapped back, the bonnet was hanging on for dear life. It obviously wasn't Amori's wig. It reminded me of the scene out of Goodfellas when Robert De Niro was strangling the guy for Maury's wig. Supposed to be testing the Hurricane Winds them wigs. Obviously not. That might have been a Maury's wig because he didn't sustain, did it? It couldn't sustain the attack. So it's flapping around. De Niro's strangling him. Ray Liotta's cracking up laughing at this wig falling off and he's asking for his money back. That scene out of Goodfellas, that was just flashing back to me. There's a little bit out of Coming to America as well, where the guy's there with his bald head. He's having this work done on his hair. But you know what? Jerome Miller, fair play to him. He got his wig punched off in the middle of the ring and he just owned it. He just sort of arms out, had the wig in his hand, held it up to the crowd and he just owned it and just got on with the fight. And yeah, that was probably one of the most memorable things of the evening. So I just thought I'd get that in there. If you've not seen it, get a look at it.